What is up, everybody? Marston here with another video. First off, happy Memorial Day, everybody, if you're watching this on Memorial Day. Hope you guys did something fun today. I know I did. I went to see some family. Had a nice little cookout. It was a lot of fun, actually. Alright, now on to the video. So this story takes place a week before I was graduating high school. Not even a week, actually. It was that Monday, and we graduated on a Friday. So yeah, it was like a few days before, actually, now that I say that. So I wake up this morning, on this particular morning, and I get a text from my boy. I'ma just call him Derek. And Derek's like, oh, want to come to my house for Memorial Day party? And I'm like, yeah, sure, who's going? Then he's like, check the group chat. I'm like, what group chat? I look at my snap, and there's all 32 of us in the group chat. And I know what you're thinking, 32? You must have had a small ass class. And if you guys have seen my other videos, you would know I went to a special ed / private school. So the classes were like very, very small, and there were like 32 of us in the entire grade. Yeah, it was super fucking small. But anyway, about 26 out of 32 of us showed up. I remember. Like, it was actually a pretty good turnout for the amount of students that were in my grade at that school. But if you've seen my he took the school bully's prom to the school bully's sister to the prom, excuse me, you would know that there was this kid named Jared and this kid named Jaden that didn't get along at all. And of course, they both just so happened to be at this party, which that fact will be important later, because the party at first starts off normal. Like, everyone's getting along. I remember there was food, there was drinks, even booze, all that. And if you've seen my other videos, you would also know I didn't drive at this point. This was like right before I got my license. So I didn't have to worry about driving any of that. So that was definitely a bonus. But about, I would say maybe 90 minutes into the party is when Jared showed up. He was a little bit late because he lived kind of far. He lived from what's his face, Derek's house, because Derek lived far as fuck from the school. He lived like a good, hour, 90 minutes. It was probably traffic. I honestly forget how long it took him. That's not that important. And then he sees Jaden. And at this point, like I said, if you've seen the prom video, you would know he was dating Jared's sister at this point. And Jared was not happy to see him. Not even a little bit. Luckily, his sister wasn't there. Things probably would have gone even worse. But I remember he just gave him that death stare. He was like, hi, Jaden, like that. And Jaden just gives him, like, he flips him off, and Jared just, like, gets all angry and shit. And Derek was the host, as I said earlier. Derek was like, hey, none of that shit. None of that shit. Not at my party, at least. Separate. So they basically separated. Derek, me, and Jaden and Chet, who was also there. We mainly hung out away from Jared, so that way Jaden didn't have to deal with him. But about an hour goes by. We're just all eating at the table. There were a few tables. We're just having a nice little barbecue. But then Jaden accidentally spills, I forget what it was. We'll just say fruit juice, whatever. All over the paper tablecloth. And Jared was already angry that he was there. So Jared crashes the fuck out on him. He's like, you fucking moron. And Jaden's like, I'm sorry. Jared gets up, goes up to Jaden, and legit punches him in the face and says, don't date my sister, break up with her. Are you going to break up with her? And Jaden's like, no. So Jared decides to take him by the shirt and say, what about now? And Jaden, this kid is a savage for that. He headbutts him and knocks Jared down flat on his back. And the two of them go at it. Like, they're punching, they're fighting. Oh my god. And the funny thing was, well, not funny thing, but like the kind of scary part was, funny now I guess, nobody did anything to stop it. Like, everyone was just watching, recording. But after a while, maybe after a couple minutes, Derek was like, alright, enough. I remember I grabbed Jaden away from Jared. I think Derek or Chet grabbed Jared away, whatever it was. I forget exactly. I'm just spitballing at this point. to pull them away from each other. And instead of just moving on, or one of them just leaving, or one of them calling truce, whatever it was, Jared decides to flip the table over. Luckily, this was outside, luckily. But Derek had like a couple dogs. He had like 2 dogs, 2 cats, I think I remember correctly. And all of his animals were like very, like, what's the right word? Like, they always go after food, especially the dogs. But the dogs ran outside, so did the cats, and they all just go after all the food that was flipped onto the table. Like, I remember there was a thing of milk on the table, there was a thing of, like, juice, like I said, a thing of hot dogs, and the dogs are just going ham. Absolute ham with that shit. And I was like, holy fuck, bro. Then Derek yells at Jared, like, you know what, dude, just get the fuck out of my party. I don't want to see you here anymore. I legit don't want to see you anymore. Like, get out. So Jared had to contact his parents since he was dropped off to pick him up. And mind you, his parents went back to their house that was like forever away. But luckily Jaden drove, so Jaden decided, you know what? This isn't worth my time. Jaden just left and said, fuck you, Jared. And gave him one more push and just left. It was scary, I'm not going to hold you. It really, really was. I honestly couldn't believe it. After he left, Derek was like, you guys okay? And we were like, yeah, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. But it was still pretty scary, even for me, even though I wasn't involved in it. We all helped clean up, and Jared decided, you know what, my parents are here, I'm out too. Luckily, Jaden didn't live too far from Derek's place, so we ended up coming back. We ended up remaking everything, and everything ended up being fine. But nonetheless, don't do this, guys. Don't start a fight. Don't ruin barbecues. Don't ruin fun events. And to add on to this, the next day we had school. This was our senior skip week. The two of them didn't say a word to each other. I remember they would ride in the van to school. Like I mentioned that a couple times. And they didn't say a word to each other. It was just very, very awkward. And at graduation, of course, both of their last names started with, I'm not going to dox them, say their real last name. We'll just say it started with an M. And they were next to each other because of alphabetical order. And they just kept giving each other the death scare. Oh my god, I thought for sure they were going to go at it. But luckily they both had a staff member sitting behind them in a different row. So that way there was no fighting. But yeah, it was crazy though. Alright guys, it's going to be a wrap for tonight. Hope you guys had a good holiday. Peace.